The most useful piece of advice I received about getting through my first year of law school was, remember, there are things in your life that you enjoy and you have friends and you enjoy doing them, so keep doing them while you're doing law school so that you can maintain that balance.
The best advice I've received about getting through your first year of law school is to give it 150%. Even though it's a tough year, it's a long year, that year matters so much to learning the basic skills and understanding how to brief cases and how to do legal research. Give it your all that first year to set you up for success later on.
The most useful piece of advice I received about getting through my first year of law school is really, really boring. The answer is there are no shortcuts. There just are no substitutes for actually doing the reading, thinking about the reading, being prepared for class, participating in class, and then practice, practice, practice for final exams.
I think the most useful piece of advice that I ever got about how to survive your first year of law school is figure out what works best for you and do that. So lots of people will study in groups, some people study alone, do whatever works best for you, figure out what study aids might be helpful, what's not helpful, and try to think outside of the box. Think of times where you were really successful in school or other settings in memorizing and learning new information, and incorporate that. I actually would ask myself questions, record myself responding to the answers to the questions, and then listen back to it later because it helped me to kind of memorize it like a song. So do whatever works best for you. You'll figure it out. Just hold on tight.
The most useful advice that I received for getting through my first year of law school was to have a good study group of people to study with and to prepare for exams with.
The best piece of advice I received for my first year in law school was to carry lots of different color highlighters around and to use them while I was reading as a backup way to access information about cases in addition to my note-taking. So although some people will tell you the highlighter method doesn't work, it worked for me all 3 years of law school, and honestly, I still can't read cases without pulling out my 6 colors of highlighters.
First year of law school is different. We get students who were stars as undergraduates. Many of them didn't have to work so hard to excel as undergraduates. I tell them that law school is a universe filled with students, all of whom were stars, that they are here to learn a wholly different language, and that in order to do that, they will have to apply themselves harder than they ever had. The other advice I give them is this. As students, they were always taught to soak up information and spit it back in a final exam. As a clinical law professor, I don't want that. What I want them to do is learn how to question everything that's said. That's what good lawyers do.
I have probably 2 most useful pieces of advice about getting through the first year of law school. The first has to do with how you think about the work. The other has to do with how you do the work. And so how you think about the work is a little counterintuitive. It's that I was advised to think strongly about the interests involved in any case and in any doctrine. Meaning, what is really behind this? What is the idea behind this? And then among the parties, who is most likely to try to take advantage of one aspect or another? What is their interest in moving this doctrine one way or another in a given case? And I found this to be very good advice because I spent so much time in the granular, trying to get down into the minutia and understanding the black letter law and its specific application to factual details, that I failed to pull up and try to see from a common sense perspective what interests were really at stake. And the second thing had to do with how to do law school. And there are many ways to do it, but one thing I found particularly important was the necessity of pulling out and doing some things that are restorative just for you. Because so much of this process of immersion creates anxiety out of the lack of familiarity that you kind of feel like you're losing yourself. And so what I found very important advice was to pull out occasionally and to treat myself to something non-linear, not necessarily very logical, maybe physical, but very restorative and very familiar.
The most useful piece of advice that I found for getting through my first year of law school was to get ahead. I started reading ahead in my classes, using my spring break and my days off to get ahead on my outlines, and it paid off in the end.